Thank you for joining Wars of the Rosies as we continue with part 38 of The Beginning of Masonry by Frank C. Higgins. The clothing of a Master Mason. Most of the Masonic eloquence that one hears, into which are introduced references to the working tools of the sublime degree, being wound around their purely spiritual associations as conceived by the speakers, it is altogether lost sight of that there are practical reasons for the selection of these figures as chief among all symbols of a mystic order descended from the wisdom religion of the distant past. Operative and speculative Mason squares contrasted. Much can be perceived from an examination of these figures with reference of their relation one to another. There are two squares known to Freemasonry. One is the speculative and the other is the operative Mason square. The operative Mason square is the true square of Freemasonry and is far more often employed in Masonic symbolism of a bygone age than the other. There are important reasons for this fact. The basic arithmetical quantities of the geometry of self-existent proportions found in nature are the numbers 3, 4, and 5, which, in their simplest combination, constitute the wonderful triangle of our ancient brother Pythagoras. That which we call an operative Mason square is as completely natural a figure as the triangle in question, because in addition to its definition of the angle of 90 degrees, the fourth part of a circle, it also lays out the two most important oblongs, those of 3x4 and 4x5, the angles of which are defined by the dotted lines BD and AC. From myriad applications of these simple figures arose all the sacred proportions employed in planning the tabernacles and temples of the ancient world. Our apron is actually an ancient Egyptian geometrical problem based on the principles of the operative Mason square, showing a quick and almost perfect manner of determining a squared circle in which the peripheries of both square and circle are precisely equal length. Correctly dissected, it consists of two oblongs of 3x4 at the top and two oblongs of 4x5 at the bottom. These constitute a perfect square, sitting the immovable point of the compass upon the intersection of the two lines that divide the square, and the free point upon A or B. We trace a circle, the circumference of which is equal to that of the square. Egyptian squared circle problem. The lines AC, BC, and DC are equal. It is not difficult to see that the dimensions of the completed square are 8x8, those of the age-old chess or draft board, which we find represented as the game of kings and queens on the oldest Egyptian monuments. Taking the point C, the center of the circle, as the situation of the sun in the center of our universe, and that, as our brethren viewed it, the physical vesture of the great architect, Jehovah, we can see the application in both square and compass, and the clothing of a master mason, in fact, that the triangle ECF is the vertical section of the mighty pyramid of Cheops, erected to perpetuate this self-same design at the remote period of 2170 BC. The altitude, CD, is of 10 parts or jod to a base of the same measure, or ha-va-ha, 5 plus 6 plus 5, constituting the mysterious Tau cross of the ancient Israelites. The derivation of the speculative square also becomes plain. Derivation of symbols of Master Mason. It has been the writer's privilege to discover the vestiges of the original Magian cult of the great architect or builder of the universe among the Bactrians of India, now called Bokhara, conquered and settled among by Greeks, accompanying Alexander the Great of Macedon. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment. And if you can, please consider donating to Wars of the Rosies. Links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. Thank you so very much.